Good morning. You are listening to UpReach, a morning devotional presented by the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee, to encourage you as you face the opportunities and challenges of today. Let's begin this day together with some inspiring thoughts from God's holy word.
Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Till I come, give attention to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Do not neglect the gift that is in you, which was given to you by prophecy with the laying on of hands of the eldership. Meditate on these things. Give yourself entirely to them, that your progress may be evident to all. Take heed to yourself and to the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this you will save both yourself and those who hear you. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 12 through 16. Last week we were looking into some principles initiated by Mrs. Booth, used for training members of the Salvation Army upon its founding. This morning I would like to continue to look at some of these principles and note how applicable they are to each of us today, as we strive to be all that God calls us to be. Consider with me the following principles for training. First, we try to exhibit the Savior as a full and sufficient sacrifice for sin. This salvation is seen not only in terms of forgiveness for past sin, but also in terms of strength in the future to conquer sin and to overcome temptation. The message is liberation from the past and victory for the future. Next, we seek to utilize the trophies we may be permitted to win. By this, Mrs. Booth means that it is the task of the Salvation Army officer to turn every converted man into a converter of others. Conversion and mission are to be seen as two halves of the same experience, and the person who truly obeys and submits to the commands of Jesus Christ becomes consumed with the desire to share him with others. Continually integrated into all of this teaching is practical training in the methods which the Army uses. Quote, they are led out into actual combat with the ignorance, sins, and woes of the people, in open-air marches and meetings, house-to-house visitation, war cry selling, slum visiting, the hunting up of drunkards and harlots, the children's work, and in any kind of guerrilla warfare which at the moment may present itself. End quote. The Army's curriculum insists on learning by doing as well as on learning by studying. It was in 1884 that this scheme was first drawn up by Mrs. General Booth. To this day it would be difficult to improve upon it. It has in it the essence of a training that is religious, intellectual, theological, and practical, and the one who seeks to be truly Christian today might do well to consider and apply these principles in his life. What about you today? Are you a true follower of Jesus? Do you seek to follow his guidelines and teachings every day of your life? Are you attempting to not only worship him on Sundays, but also live for him throughout the week? Why not ask God today for the courage, the strength, and the discipline you need to follow him wholeheartedly every moment of every day?
This has been UpReach, a presentation of the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am Kyle Bolton, the pulpit minister at Church Street, and I would like to personally invite you to come and share times of Bible study and worship with us each week. We meet every Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. for our morning worship, followed by our Sunday school for all ages at 10:15 a.m. Then we meet again at 6 o'clock p.m. for our evening worship. We also have a midweek meeting for devotion and Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
I am a poor wayfaring stranger, while traveling through this world of war. Yet there's no sickness, toil, nor danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going